It all has to do with anxiety and self-criticism. And Fred is going to put a couple of statistics on the screen for us. And stress accounts for 45% of all working days lost, which are due to ill health, but it's really anxiety driven. And between 2015 and 2016, so that's just 1 year, 11.7 million working days were lost to stress in the United States. 1 year, 11.7. So you need to learn from me how to manage your anxiety, how to eliminate anxiety, how to transform anxiety. You can't enjoy life very much if you're stressed, if you're worried, if you're judging yourself, if you're afraid to start to learn something new because you're going to start telling yourself a story that you should be great at it. No, you're just starting to learn something new. How could you be great at it? You have to be willing to learn, and it takes a while to get yourself up there. That's what the learning curve means. So please understand, anxiety and stress are normal. And people who have big jobs and make a lot of money and have huge careers, they are different from the average person who feels frightened and stays frightened, feels worried and stays worried. This is a different operating system that they have, and I've taught many of them how to do that, and I would love to teach you as well.
That's so motivating that people can transform that.
And better. Yeah. You can, but more importantly, you better. You need to.
Now exploring this, Susan, in advancing up the career ladder, how does misunderstanding the company's goals block success?
Well, what I find when I teach empathy to people for business is that they don't have empathy for their boss, they don't have empathy for their coworkers, they don't have empathy for the needs of the owners of the company. It's not just customers, clients, something in sales. It's not just if they're in HR and needing to connect on a deeper level with hires and new hires. It's that there's a complete lack of empathy for the entire structure called the company. And so when you learn empathy, it puts you in a very different bracket, head and shoulders ahead of most of the people who are your coworkers. You've got to learn to be able to do this. Because until you learn what your company needs, you're not going to be able to get 100% of your bonus, because you're not going to be able to produce 100% of their needs if you don't know what they are. So this is absolutely urgent. So let's talk about this.
I love that. Now, what about problems with understanding the needs of the company and the job description? Let's say, how does that cause chaos?
Well, I have some clients who call me and they seem to understand the company's needs. Whatever that may be, it's pretty easy. It should be on the homepage of their website. But, they do that pretty well. But they don't understand their job description. So even though they got an offer letter, most of you get an offer letter nowadays before you take a job. They delineate what your obligation is, what your requirements are, responsibilities, how soon you're going to be required to accomplish that, what kind of incremental benefits you're going to get in terms of percentages and bonuses, all of that. It's usually in your offer letter. How many of you have really read your offer letter? How many of you have read your offer letter more than once after you took the job? Well, this is a very dangerous thing, because I've had people who said to me, I'm doing a great job. And I said, well, please send me your offer letter. And they sent me the letter, and I would say, okay, well, what about this? It says that within the first 6 months, you have to close 3 accounts. You have to sell to 3 accounts. Tell me about that. Oh, I haven't done that. Let's say, okay, well, it also says that you have to increase the business that the company was already doing to this many thousands or millions of dollars. Tell me about that. Oh, I didn't do that. And on it goes. So literally, an idea that if they got the job, that was all that was required to interview well enough to get the job. But in fact, there's a lot more you have to do after that.
And you'll help them with that clarity.
Absolutely, all of that.
Now, what is the skill set actually that you go about showing your clients how to clarify their career goals?
So when someone comes to me, and I'm always working with a couple of people on this. So when someone comes to me and they tell me that they want a better job or a new job, we have to be very specific about the job they have right now, the job description, the incremental goals that they have to reach, how much they get paid, what's the whole deal. And then they tell me what they're looking for. And I usually work with people who expect to get at least a 40% improvement on the financials, which is exciting to me too, because it means that if you're willing to learn, you can produce those results. If you're not willing to learn, how in the world would you produce those results? And I'm only there to have people learn, to have people acquire new skills. That's what's exciting. So it's always fascinating to see that they haven't really clarified what their goals are, which are already stated in the offer letter.
Yes.
It's right there in black and white. Their HR person at the company, or the owner of the company, or their direct supervisor in the company, or all of the above, have been speaking about career goals before they took the new job. And so if it's a bonus that you want, what are your goals in order to get it? If it's stock options you want, what are the company's goals, the big picture goals that have to be reached in order for these things to happen? And once I lead people in that conversation, it's great. They get with the program pretty quickly.
You're so motivating, Susan. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Along with the skills, of
Thanks.
course. Now, I know that you go about teaching the whole brain thinking, and would you be able to describe to us a critical skill that actually allows for this career success?
The most important part of whole brain thinking when it comes to most jobs, and Fred, if you would put the little map up, that would be great, is the blue quadrant. It's what is your result? What is the result you've produced? What is the result you're working on producing? That's all the company cares about. The company doesn't care about the lower left unless you're an administrative assistant. The company doesn't care about the upper right, the yellow, unless you're the designer, the creative person. The company doesn't care about the red quadrant, the lower right, which is relationships, unless you are having such a problem either with relationships with people who work for the company, or relationships with the boss who owns the company or runs the company, or with your clients or customers. But they really don't care that much as long as you're meeting your numbers. And that's what the blue quadrant is. Data, dollars, numbers, facts, and figures. So that's where your career goals live, in the upper left blue quadrant. And you can't ignore it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist.